Hey folks, I am talking with Jack, who is an Australian with about 30 years of life experience living in the Philippines. We're having a conversation a little bit about life in Southeast Asia. The XY crew is having a jamboree this actually starting at the beginning of next month, or rather the beginning of November in Thailand. And so we're going to cover some information about going there, just some do's and don'ts, that sort of thing, and a little bit of understanding about the culture, expectations, and things of that nature. Jack has graciously consented to giving us some of his time there and his expertise in doing this correctly. I want to cover just some of the really fundamental basics, really touristy stuff in the beginning, if you don't mind, Jack. I've done some AI research, which we know is iffy. But for instance, one of the things that I was learned from AI is that it is actually cheaper to do your currency exchange in the Bangkok airport than it is to go to banks there. Uh, do you have any clue about that?
No, that's actually not right. The exchange rates in the airport are actually terrible. I wouldn't recommend changing sort of any money there at all if you can avoid it. Your best alternative is to see if you can go. Well, you can check on a currency exchange website like xe.com. So if you go to that particular website, that'll give you a mid rate. So I think the mid rate at the moment is about 30. It might be 32 baht for a US dollar. So when you're purchasing from the banks, like outside of Bangkok, like outside of the airport downtown, if the mid rate is 32, you usually get about 31.75 if you're
Okay.
buying baht, and if you're selling baht, so if you're selling baht to get US dollars, it'd be about 32.25. Now, at the airport for US dollars, you might get 30 or something like that. So the rates are terrible actually in the airport, so I wouldn't recommend changing any money there. Try to change some money. Check on the one on xe.com or one of the exchange websites what the rate is, and try and get something like that at your bank. So you might get a few $100s at your bank before you go to Thailand. But if you have to at a pinch, maybe just change $100 at the airport and wait until you can get into the city to change money at a money changer.
Okay, good advice there. And unsurprisingly, AI has lied to me. It said that the better rates were at the airport, not at the banks. And of course, uh, I've already done a transaction with a local bank here who got Thai currency for me.
Yeah.
Um, and the exchange rate, I didn't feel like terribly ripped off doing it. So anyway, there's your info, folks. You can do it here in the States or wherever your home country is at a bank. Check, what was the name of that website again, Jack?
It's xe.com. So that's Zen Labs is the actual currency exchange website, but it's yeah, their website is xe.com.
Okay, xd.com for the
Yep.
currency exchange. There's also coming into Thailand, there is some sort of, they have this quick pass system that you need to fill out some paperwork online up to 72 hours before arrival. Can you give us a little bit of the info on that?
Sure, yeah. The this was introduced in on May 1 of 2025 this year. So before then, you filled out a paper arrival card. It was called a TM6 card. So the card had two sides to it. There was a TM6 and a TM7. So you filled out the TM6 and the TM7, and they stapled the TM7 into your passport and kept the TM6, and you surrendered that to the immigration office when you left. Well, they've now abolished that, and they've got something called the TDAC, or the Thailand Digital Arrival Card. So that's a website that you go to and you just input all your details, like your name, your passport number, your flight number, and then they'll email you back a QR code, which you show to the immigration officer when you arrive. Now, if you don't do it, you can only do it 72 hours or less before you leave. So or leave for Thailand. So if you don't do it, you'll have to do it when you get to the airport in Bangkok, which the immigration officers actually will assist you with that. But it's going to seriously slow down your entry into Thailand because at Suvarnabhumi Airport, which is a major airport, if they get a lot of flights that dump there, I mean, it could take you 30 minutes, 45 minutes to get up to an immigration officer. And then if you haven't completed the Thailand digital arrival card, you won't be able to do it at the counter. He'll send you away. Him or her will send you away, and you have to join the end of the queue again. So make sure you get that sorted out. I've actually got the website here, but I don't know. Would I be able to put that up in the chat box, Paul?
No, not right now, but folks, wherever you're listening to this, whether it's on my Substack or YouTube channel or the Subscribe Star, there will be a link provided. Jack has already shared the link with me, and I'll be providing the link for you in with that.
Now, there's just one caveat with this Thailand Digital Arrival Card. There's an official website that the Thai government has, and that's got a .go.th ending on the website the website. Okay, so when you put it in, make sure it's .go.th. Now, there are some spam websites. Well, they're actually not spams. What they are is anyone can register for anybody. So, for example, Paul, if you were to give me your passport details, I could register for you on there. They don't sort of check your identity when you're registering it. So some people have been pretty clever and set up websites, and you'll sort of search it on Google. You'll go to one of these websites and they'll try to charge you $100 fee or something of that nature to register. So you'll actually get the Thailand Digital Arrival Card, but you'll be paying a third party $100 for it. So make sure that you use the official website. It's all free. And make sure you don't get caught out with that, because you don't want to sort of, get ripped off $100.
Absolutely. Well, not getting ripped off is part of this discussion. So I guess it actually starts before you even get on the plane.
Indeed.
Not getting ripped off. We will put the link to that in the description area for this, and also to that xd.com to check currency exchange rates. And any other relevant links you'll find somewhere in the description area here. Can you tell us a little bit some of the basics that we need to know about Thai culture?
Yeah, Thai people are very reserved, and they're very polite, and they're very friendly, and you won't you'll sort of it's a bit this is not something that's unique to Thailand. It's Asian cultures in general. The respective cultures we come from, the Anglosphere, British-based cultures, you're taught to sort of say what's on your mind and be sort of very vocal and forthright and out there. Like if something's on your mind, speak it, get it out in the open, let's deal with it. Thailand and Asian cultures are completely different. It's seen as a bad thing to say what's on your mind. So a Thai person might be very upset at you, very angry at you, might not even like you, but they'll still smile to you and be pleasant and friendly. So what's inside their mind may not be the way that they really feel about you. Outbursts of anger, public displays of affection are very, very much frowned upon in Thailand. You have to be very, very friendly and humble when you're dealing with particularly uniformed government officials in Thailand. Uniformed government officials work for the king, right? And if you disrespect the monarchy in Thailand, you're going to be in a whole heap of trouble. And in fact, it's a criminal offence. So disrespecting a uniformed government official like a police officer or an immigration officer is seen as disrespecting the king. So it'll be viewed very, very, very dimly.
I hope my American friends are listening to this.
Yeah, that's right. And that's not a criticism of American culture, because American culture is actually quite good, but it doesn't sort of, dovetail well with Asian cultures. So on the plane over, alcohol is a big problem that causes tourists a lot of trouble in Thailand. So for pity's sake, don't get 7 sheets to the wind on the way over. I know it's a long way, and it's sort of it's a temptation to sort of drink and drink and drink, because you're looking at about 14, 15, 16 hours on the way over from North America. And not a good look if you turn up, pissed up to the eyeballs.
No,
So
probably not. Probably not traveling to any country in the world to show up looking like a wreck like that is not a good thing. And by the way, I just confirmed yesterday, looking things up, the flight from LAX to Bangkok is between 17 and 18 hours. It's so long they can't pinpoint an exact time.
yeah, it's a long way. I mean, it's a good 13 or 14 hours here to Manila, from LA to Manila, and then you've got about another 3 hours on from Manila to Bangkok. So it is a long way. I deal with long flights whenever I go to the US. I just sit there and just go catatonic. I mean, you can't really do anything about it. Just have a sleep, have something to eat, have a few drinks, but don't sort of get completely plastered. one of the things about Thais too, and you'll see this in the tourist area, that when they're dealing with drunk, aggressive tourists, they've got the patience of Job. I mean, you just wouldn't believe it. They'll just sit there and they'll take abuse after abuse until they hit a crossover point. And I've seen some tourists escalate things to the point where the Thais will just snap. And, I've seen people literally get bashed within an inch of their life. But that's not a criticism of Thai culture. That's a result of these foreigners causing a problem. But in order to get to that point where you'd be in a physical confrontation, you'd have to do a lot of stuff. I mean, it would be something that would build up over a long period of time. So the ticket is, if you're going to go into the tourist areas and have a few drinks, just be a bit sensible about it. And that's anywhere in the world. I mean, I know that if you went to bars or pubs in the area where you live or where I come from in Australia, Paul, if you drink a skinful and start picking fights with people, well, you're going to get into trouble pretty quick. So that's not something that's unique to
Absolutely.
Thailand.
Trouble's not far away if that's what you're looking for. And so
No,
I suggest all my friends, and I'm fortunate the people I hang with and that I'll be enjoying time with in Thailand are not loud, obnoxious people looking for trouble. Just some guys looking for some fun, which is the way it
that's
ought to
right. Yeah.
be.
If you want, I mean, look, if you want to drink a skinful, just the safest thing is just go to your hotel room, lock the door, turn off all your social media, and drink yourself into oblivion and fall asleep if that's what you want to do. But the social media is another, and this is something that's very important too. Social media can be a problem in Thailand. In Thailand, see, defamation is a criminal offence. It's not a civil offence. So in Thailand, if you have a bad experience with a hotel or with a bar or with a restaurant, do not under any circumstances go on social media and start bucketing them like on Facebook or Google or YouTube or any of these social media websites because if you embarrass somebody publicly there, social standing is very, very important to Thai people. And if you go embarrassing their business, even if it is their fault, you could find yourself on the end of a criminal defamation charge, which means you could be trapped in Thailand. It's an extreme case, but the best thing to do is if you have a bad experience, is just chalk it up to experience and let it go. Don't sort of go spraying things all over Facebook because you could end up in trouble.
Right. And for heaven's sake, if you know you're obnoxious when you drink, don't drink. or,
Hmm,
or, at
exactly.
least, or at least keep
Yeah.
it private. Unfortunately, most of the guys I've known in my life that were obnoxious when they drank love to drink. Uh, Hopefully, we won't see any of that, but I bet you we'll be able to. Um, can't talk about Thailand without talking about Walking Street, especially in Pattaya, where we're going to be.
Yep.
Um, do you have any suggestions for the guys? Personally, I'm in a committed relationship. I'm not fooling with any of the prostitutes down there, but I expect some guys will. Um, what are your suggestions about this? Not that I think you're an expert on Thai prostitutes, but you're as close as we got.
Well, the red light areas in Thailand, whether you're in Bangkok or Pattaya or wherever, are the same as red light areas anywhere. Red light areas attract bad people. They attract, and it's the same as the red light areas here in the Philippines, anywhere in the world, in Europe, in where you come from, Paul, where I come from in Australia. So it attracts a higher proportion of people that are looking for no good, criminals and thieves and all those other people that come from that local country. So the best thing to do is just be sensible and protect yourself. Don't, as I said, don't drink too much. Um, don't get involved in illegal drugs, things like amphetamines. They call it yaba in Thailand. Ya is the Thai word for medicine, and bar is a Thai word for crazy. So it's crazy medicine is the actual English translation. Don't get involved in any of that because you really will be in serious trouble with the police. Cannabis is actually legal, so you can pretty much buy it anywhere. They have dispensaries. It's a bit sort of nebulous, like a lot of things in Thailand, where you're supposed to have a prescription from a doctor, but everyone just goes in and buys it. Buy a little bit for your own personal use if you're that way inclined. I don't use cannabis, but if you do use cannabis, buy it for your own personal use. Dispose of any residual that you got left over before you leave Thailand. Do not, under any circumstances, attempt to export it through the international borders, because if you get caught, you really will be in a huge amount of trouble. And if you're traveling to another Asian country after Thailand, it'd be a good idea to sort of check your bags, check your baggage, make sure that you don't have any left, because if you're flying to somewhere like Singapore or Malaysia and you get caught with importing cannabis there, you really will be in a world of trouble. I mean, they have the death penalty, floggings, canings, that kind of thing for drug possession. So just be mindful of that.
Hardly worth it for a little bit of weed.
Yeah, that's right. Well, Singapore particularly has very, very draconian drug laws, and in fact, they have the death penalty for possession of amounts over a certain amount. I think it's cannabis; it's 500 grams, which it's unlikely you would sort of buy that much or have that much on you. But yeah, just be mindful of it. That don't try to export any of it. Use it for your own personal use and dispose of whatever you have left before you leave Thailand. One thing on the red light districts I'd like to add too. You see, I come from Sydney, and we have a red light district there, King's Cross. Now, because I'm Australian and the majority of people there are Australian, you sort of tuned into the culture. So you know this person's someone you want to stay away from if you see somebody who's a bit sort of dodgy there. When you go to Thailand, and indeed any country where you're not familiar with the culture, there's this veneer that's put over everything. It looks like it's very nice, like the girls are very nice and there's plenty of drinks and everybody's friendly and happy, but it's still a red light district. You could get robbed by a ladyboy. There's a lot of ladyboys there. They call them katoi. So effectively, they're just transvestites who've had the operation, and men that have transitioned to women. And they can actually become quite aggressive and quite violent when you see them in the streets. And if you see a Katoi approaching you, it's best to just step out of the way. Don't let them touch you or put their hands on you, because they're expert pickpockets, and they'll grab your cell phone, your wallet, any jewelry that you're wearing, and just run away. And good luck going to the police and trying to get it sorted out. It's just a
Right.
problem. So yeah. Yeah, just exercise caution when you're in red light. It's a red light area. It's like anywhere. Just exercise caution. You shouldn't have any problems.
Going back to the cannabis for just a moment, I did some research on that and was informed that they have recriminalized recreational cannabis, but it's still legal medicinally and it's easy to get a license. I just wanted to throw in there that to the best of my information, if you're inclined toward cannabis, you better get a license. Um, I don't think any guys want to run afoul of the law in a place like Thailand.
It's sort of, as I said, Paul, that a lot of things in Thailand are sort of nebulous. And yeah, whilst it's been sort of recriminalised in some respects, it's not sort of clear that it's actually passed the parliament, whether it's actually legislation.
Okay.
If you want to purchase some, go to a dispensary, buy it. Don't use it in public, and you'll avoid a whole lot of problems. Just go back to your room or go to a private place and just use it for a bit of personal use. I don't think you'll have any trouble. I was there for 3 months from May to August this year. And yeah, I mean, nothing had sort of changed in the last month or so. So I don't think you'll really have any problems. But as I said, just don't sort of use it in public. I think Thai people get a bit offended by people that use it in public.
Right.
You may have a problem there. Or the cops might just take it off you or something if you're using it in public. But if you're using it in the privacy of your own hotel room, and they might actually have areas where you can use it in your hotel room. Some hotels will not let you bring cannabis in. They say we don't want you to bring it in. Some hotels will freely allow you to. So it's sort of done on a hotel by hotel basis.
Okay. Let's talk about tipping. It's customary in the United States, and they've been really squeezing more out of us here in trying to raise the amount that we tip. My information that I got was that tipping was in Thailand was considered a courtesy, not mandatory, and it was in smaller amounts than would be typical for a Westerner. How close is that to the truth?
Yeah, that's pretty much on the mark. It depends where you are. So if you're on the street and you're buying, a bowl of noodles off a street vendor like them, they'll have a noodle cart and a few chairs where you can sit down and have a bowl of noodles or a plate of fried rice. You typically can buy something there for about maybe 60 or 70 baht, which is, about roughly about $2. No need to tip there. I mean, you just pay the price and that's it.
Okay.
If you're going into fast food restaurants like McDonald's, KFC, Burger King, of course, no need to tip there. If you're in and you can go to sort of steakhouses where you can buy an imported steak, which is probably horrendously expensive. Anything imported in Thailand is. You might, like to leave a 5 or 10% tip if you want to. If you don't want to, just don't leave a tip. I mean, you'll what happens is that in a sort of higher end restaurant, when you get the bill, they'll put the bill inside like a small folder, like a leather folder, and they'll hand it to you, and you can either hand them your card. If you hand them the card to pay electronically, of course you won't, there won't be any facility to tip there. If you give them some cash and you might have a few coins left over when they bring you the change, you could leave the coins. It might amount to 1 or 2% of the bill, and that'd be sufficient. Or you could just take all the money and not leave them a tip. It's completely up to you. It's not expected.
Okay, and that was AI got that one right. You were just about verbatim what I was reading on AI about tipping. What about local water supply? A lot of us Americans, we traveled, and I've done this in Mexico and other places. I strictly stick to bottled water because there's things in water supplies in other countries that I'm not exposed to and may make me sick. Uh, What's your policy on that when you travel there, Jack?
Yeah, in Thailand, do not under any circumstances drink tap water. You can buy bottled water freely pretty much anywhere. 7-Elevens are virtually on every street corner. There might be two on every street corner. They're all over the place, and you can buy water that's very, very, very cheap. So, a 1 litre bottle of water you can buy maybe for about 12 baht, which is about 30 cents. And if if you're really sort of conscious of your money, you can buy like a 5 litre container for about 40 baht, and you can just continue to decant it into a small bottle. So carry a bottle of water around with you when you travel, when you're going out. But you can buy water anyway all over the place. But yeah, under no circumstances drink the tap water. You might get away with it, but then again, you might get chronically sort of sick. And I've from time to time in Asia, you could probably count it on less than one hand. I've had dysentery, and it's not very pleasant, and it'll go on for about a week, and it'll pretty much wreck your holiday if you're only there for about 12 days. So you'll spend half of it, shitting every 15 minutes, and which is not much fun. But under no circumstances drink tap water at all. Bottled water is freely available and cheap.
Guys, you have been forewarned. Stay away from the tap water. What are some of there's a lot of sights to see in Bangkok and Pattaya. There's temples and places to go. And I noted in some of the videos that I watched that they really expect you to not show up looking like a beach bum to tour their temples. Is that correct?
Indeed, yes, yes. Temples are Thai people are extremely religious, and they take their religion very, very, very seriously. If you go to a temple, you will have to wear long pants, and you'll have to take your shoes off when you go inside. So, the more popular temples like the Grand Palace in Bangkok, in Sanam Luang, if you turn up without long pants, someone will sell you a pair of silk. You can buy a pair of silk pants for about 100 baht, a little over $3, before you can go in. At the smaller temples, if you just turn up, they probably won't, but you certainly won't be admitted unless you have long pants on. And just wear a collared shirt, wear long pants. Don't turn up after you've been drinking or smoking cannabis. Just try to respect things, and just sort of have a look around. Don't. It's probably good policy. You can take photographs of Buddha statues and ornaments and things like that. Maybe not a good idea to take photographs of yourself in them. So
Right.
some idiot tourists, they're up country. I was up around Chiang Mai, and they came across it was a sort of a semi-abandoned Buddhist temple, and there was statues of Buddha there, and they took photographs of themselves jumping all over the Buddha statues, and
Oh man.
performing simulated nefarious acts with Buddha statues, and put them all on Facebook, and they got into serious trouble when they got to the airport. It was just a complete outrage. So don't do anything stupid like that. If you want to take photographs of Buddha images, feel free, but best not to have yourself in them is probably a good idea.
So no selfies with Buddha. Noted.
Yeah, it may not be a problem, but you just want to err on the side of caution, because one of the things about these countries is that they're very friendly countries. Asian countries, and particularly Thailand, is a very friendly country. If you cross the line and have a problem, the place can be extraordinarily unforgiving, particularly with criminal punishments, all those kind of things. So you just got to sort of be aware of that. There's boundaries, and if you stick within the boundaries, you won't have any trouble at all.
so basically, don't go there and be a dick, and you won't have any problems.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, exactly. I know down in the red light areas in Soi 6 in in Pattaya. The Brits are the worst offenders when it comes to just behaving badly. They'll go down and they'll have 20 or 30 alcoholic drinks, shots of liquor, and just get completely bladdered and just, pick fights with people and cause trouble. And if you don't do things like that, you won't have any trouble at all.
So pommies, be on your best behavior, okay? Uh, I know they love that term. Is there anything that I haven't asked that you think is worthy of noting for this conversation, Jack?
I'll just go through a couple of things here. With the money, yeah, we sort of discussed that. With your funding options coming to Thailand, you're better off bringing cash. Go to your bank and get fresh $100 bills. The money changes in Thailand won't change anything that's got nicks or stains or cuts or any older sort of banknotes that look a little bit worse for wear. Best to get fresh $100 bills from your bank. Noting that anything less than the 1996 series of US dollar bills, you probably won't be able to change them anywhere. So if you get the latest series of $100 bills, you won't have any problems there. You can use ATMs in Thailand, but the problem with them is that if you don't like traveling with cash, ATMs are freely available, but you will incur two fees. So US bank, you'll have to sort of talk to them. Some banks don't have fees. Some banks have fees but rebate them. But you'll pay a 220 baht withdrawal fee, which is about $6 every time you go to the bank. But I mean, that's, to me, $6 is a reasonable amount of money in Thailand. So I always travel with cash. But if you feel sort of unsafe with that, well, you can certainly use the banks, but be aware that, if you make 10 withdrawals, well, it's going to cost you $60, which, I wouldn't pay, but some other people do. It's just a personal preference of theirs. The banknotes in Thailand, the denominations are 20 baht, 50 baht, 100 baht, 500 baht, and 1,000 baht. So the functional banknotes are the 20 bahts and the 100 baht. So when you go to 7-Eleven to buy a bottle of water or something, if it's like 12 baht, you can break a 1,000 baht bill. They'll always have change. So keep breaking down those 500s and thousands to get a lot of smaller bills. And then when you're buying things on the street from vendors, a lot of vendors won't be able to change 500 and 1,000 baht bills. So you get yourself stacks of change and make sure you have that as well. Another thing too, and this is very important, make sure you get travel insurance. So you want to get travel insurance that will sort of insure you against, sort of a hospital stay or something if you have an accident or you get sick, in the unlikely event it happens. Motorbikes are freely available to rent in Thailand, but the problem you have with that is that you'll have to check with the insurance company because you may void your insurance if you're not licensed in the jurisdiction you come from. So you'll have to check that with your insurance company. So, you can hire a motorbike for a few hundred baht a day. Driving's chaotic there. But if you're not insured or if you're not licensed in the jurisdiction where you come from, you may not be insured. So make sure you sort of check that as well with your insurance company.
And there is a lot of rather inexpensive taxis and tuk-tuks available too, correct?
Yes, yeah, of course, yeah. Your best option, well, I'll just talk about the airport. When you arrive there, you want transport to where you're going. So you want to, I mean, if you can you can go straight down to Pattaya from the airport, or if you're staying in Bangkok, you can go to Bangkok out of your accommodation. Um, there's metered taxis at the airport. They may or may not use the meter. They may just say it's a flat fare. You'll always pay too much if it's a flat fare. Your best alternative, and there's two rideshare apps that we use in Thailand. It's called Grab and Bolt. So we can put those up in the chat box or up on the website as well on the Subscribe Star website. So use those. Now, Grab actually has a dedicated pickup point at Suvarnabhumi Airport. So you can just go onto the app, book a taxi or book a Grab, go and wait there. And a lot of the taxis now have the Grab app anyway, so you may end up getting a taxi, but they won't use the meter. It'll just be a flat fare that you've got on your app. And the transport from Bangkok Airport to Bangkok will be about 400 baht. You're looking at probably about about $12 is what you will pay for that. You may have to pay the tolls in cash, so the tolls might be 50 baht or something, but you can sort of work that out with the driver. Using tuk-tuks if you're in Bangkok around the city, they're not metered. You'll have to negotiate with a fare, and you'll always pay over the odds. So your best alternative is to use the ride share apps. Like Bolt is particularly good when you're in Bangkok or Pattaya. I've never waited more than a minute for a Bolt, and you can go right across town for about 50 baht, which is yeah, a little under $2. So use those always, and they're a very good way to sort of get around. What
There will
else?
be links to those
Oh,
provided.
yeah, yeah, we'll put that. You can download those apps on your phone. Yeah, like violence doesn't solve anything in Southeast Asia, right? So if you get into you know, if you can see a situation sort of heating up with people, particularly locals, just sort of back down. Violence between tourists in the tourist areas is pretty much stepped on pretty quickly. The cops will turn up, everyone will drag down to the police station. It'll just cause you more problems. So better just not to get involved in those kind of things. Yeah, but generally, it's just being sensible. So don't do anything that's going to get you into trouble. You know, where you're going to sort of have an argument or a fight with somebody. Just sort of walk away from it is the best thing to do. Yeah, so that's basically it, really. So
Well,
not a dangerous country. Just be sensible.
yeah, what you've described sounds very much like a culture that is just founded on respect in a lot of ways, respect for the institutions, for the law, for each other, which ought to be a worldwide approach, in my opinion. So it sounds like it's actually easy enough to have a really great time there, unless you've got some sort of personality issue that lends you toward trouble, and then you'll find it.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I mean, Thai people, they love their king, they love their culture, they love their country. And it sort of reminds me a bit of what Australia was like 50 years ago, where, we love the Queen, we love the country, we love the culture. And that's all sort of dissipated in Western countries. Now people are sort of taught to hate their own country, and particularly in
Yep.
Australia. And I think it's really sad. So I think we could learn a lot from the Thai people about respect for their country.
Yeah, but we could learn a lot here from that in America. How much of a language barrier do you encounter in just day-to-day life, going to restaurants or to a bar for a drink or to stores for shopping? Is there a significant language barrier?
In the tourist areas, no. You'll find people that will speak basic English. So if you're in Pattaya, yeah, you won't have any trouble getting on with the English language. Most people will speak a reasonable amount of the language to get what you want. Now, when you're out of the tourist areas where they don't see any tourists, a Falang is a white European, so they don't make any distinction between Americans, Australians, British, whatever, Western Europeans. They all think we're the same. So they have no sort of understanding of where you come from, or the different language barriers between us. But when you're out of the tourist areas, yeah, you might find English is very, very sort of difficult to find. So you can pick up a few basic Thai phrases. I'm certainly not fluent in Thai, but I can speak enough to get what I want. So I can get food and I can get drinks and I can organise transport. But I certainly couldn't have an in-depth conversation with someone about politics in Thai. I'm not sort of that advanced, but you won't have any trouble in the tourist areas at all. It's not an English-speaking country, but there is enough English to get anything that you want there.
Okay. One last question, just an observation in my life from my excursions into Mexico and a couple of other places. We see in Americans flashing money and trying to impress women that way. You have any thoughts on that as an approach?
Well, there's probably two different types of women. So you've got the women that work in the bar areas and the red light areas, and we all know what they're sort of up to, and they're there to maximise the amount of money they can get. So if you're flashing your money around in those places, well, there's no shortage of people that will help you spend it. That's for sure. So you can sort of do that and try to be the big man and throw a lot of money around, but when the money runs out, the affection and the interest in you will run out. So it's when the meter stops, yeah, you'll find yourself out in the cold. So probably not a good thing to do.
Suddenly, you're not so handsome when the money stops. Um,
Indeed,
I will
that's right.
I'll be linking a video in this description I just saw yesterday. Mike B sent it to me from Justice for Men and Boys, called My Pattaya Addiction. And it's a story about a Brit who went there, thought he fell in love, and ending up going through something like ten to $15,000
Oh yeah,
in a very short period of time. And ended up not knowing how it happened. It came from some girl he thought he was in love with, and next thing you know, one of her aunts needed an operation. She needed money. Then her motorbike broke. She needed money for that. And before he knew it, he was broke.
Yes, that's right. You see, that's the typical blue pill philosophy that some men bring to Thailand. And if you bring that, there's a lot of need in particularly amongst the lower socioeconomic classes. So if you hold yourself out as being Mr. Fix It, you'll just get bombarded with problems. And some of those problems may not actually be genuine. They may just be extracting money from you. So just exercise a lot of caution in that area. With Thai people that don't work in the entertainment industry or don't deal with foreigners, they're very reserved, and it would be quite difficult to even have a conversation with those types of people unless you're interacting with them, in a store or something like that. They're very, very reserved. They're very sort of a little bit nervous and suspicious of foreigners because they see the way some of them behave there, and they sort of tend to tar everybody with the same brush. So genuine relationships with genuine women there take time. It's like anything. It's not sort of you can just walk into a relationship with a Thai woman. It doesn't work in that particular area. So yeah, just don't go for it. It's not good policy to flash money around anyway because you're just making yourself a target. So that's not a good idea anywhere, I don't think.
Hear that, guys? No Captain Save-A-Ho in Thailand. Leave that guy
No,
wherever you came from. Uh,
indeed.
Jack, one more time. Is there anything else you'd like to add before we wrap up?
No, just to reiterate, don't do anything that's silly over there. Don't pick fights with people. Uh, don't get sort of too intoxicated, particularly with the bars. One thing with the bars, you go in there and you buy a beer. You pay when you leave. You don't pay when you per drink. Okay, so what they do is they put a little cup in front of you and they'll put the bills in there. So sometimes some people will get so drunk that they forget how many they got in there, and some of the bar girls might slip a few additional chips in there and try to make you pay a bit more. So your best idea is just to pay as you go. So if you order a beer, pay for it, and don't sort of drink too many. You forget what you are because it can get carried. You can get carried away, and just be a bit sensible, and you won't have any trouble at all. Thailand is a very, very, very safe country, and the people are very nice. And just exercise normal amounts of caution and you shouldn't have any trouble at all.
Sounds like a good, sensible plan. I want to tag on one thing to the end here, folks. We're having an event going to Thailand starting November 2nd for XY Crew. It's a members only event. There is a link in the description to that. If you would like to join us, you can sign up to be a member of XY Crew. It costs a whopping $5 a month to join our group. And you can come there and have a good time and party with Red Pill guys if you're interested. And let's see, is there anything else? No, there actually isn't. Guys, get your medical insurance in order and your Thai paperwork. Like I said, I'm going to add some links to people who sell insurance for travel. I've done some research on that and have already gotten mine. And I will provide those in there. Get your stuff in order. I'm looking forward to seeing all the guys come the end of October, beginning of November. Jack, thanks a lot for lending your time to this. We really appreciate it.
Anytime. If you need anything else, just send me an email, Paul, and we can I can sort of give you additional information if you think of anything else.
Will do. That's it, folks. See you next time.